So how are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah?
You know, uh, this is this isn't too far off from when I was in the military. So
Yeah.
we used to get put on lockdown all the time. So it's not like one of those things where I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened.
Yeah, you're just like, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah, that type of energy, and also um, the thought process should be for the American people is how it because everyone's like, oh, it's not that bad. We should be fine. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But what they're not considering is the fact that you know how many things happen that the government doesn't tell you about. And I've been privy to things that happen that they're like, no, we don't need to tell anybody until it reaches a point of where they have to tell somebody.
Absolutely have to.
So that's what happened. So I mean, you really should consider it. Whatever they're telling you to be safe, you really should consider. Probably doing that
Do an
because.
extra. Yeah, it's like whatever they're telling you to do, just take a step extra.
Yes, please do. I mean, I understand you want to get back to working at Arby's and, slicing up that meat and doing that all, I get it.
Yeah,
But believe me, it's not worth your life. It's not worth, someone else's life. So
right.
stay home, stay safe. Right?
How long were you in the military? Are you still in the military? I wasn't
No,
sure.
I'm out. I
Yeah.
got out in 2015 and I
Okay.
was there for 6 years and then 2 years on reserve.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Tried to recall me too. They're like, we need you back and da 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 da. And I was like, I'm on drugs, so sorry.
There you
That's the only
go.
way. That's the only way you
I'm
can
on
get out of it.
drugs.
Like, I'm not on like real drugs. I'm on like Prozac.
California legal drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, Prozac.
Prozac. There
But
you go.
they don't like that. They don't like for
Really?
the job that I did. You couldn't take. I have attention deficit disorder. You couldn't take ADD meds and do my
Really?
job. Yeah, you can't handle a weapon and have that in your
And be
system.
on. I feel like it would be better
Better.
if, for
Yeah,
everyone to be on
yeah,
the ADD medication.
yeah. That's what you're using?
Yeah.
Logic.
Right.
They're not using it. So
Uh,
at the same time, I had anxiety,
uh-huh.
while I was in there. And so I still have it. That's why I take Prozac. But um, at the same time, I was taking starts with an L.
Lex
Forget the name right now. But it's for anxiety. And I told
Lexapro? Is that?
yeah, Lexapro. So
Yeah.
I told them, I was like, yo, I'm taking this Lexapro, and they're like, yeah, we don't give a damn about that, but you can't take that Ritalin. Don't take that.
Wow.
They literally tried to kick me out of the military because I was taking Ritalin, but they didn't care about the Lexapro. I was like, I think one's worse than the other. I would
Yeah,
imagine
for
about
sure.
Lexapro makes you kind of woozy, lazy
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
And,
I was
protect
on
yourself.
Lexapro for a year.
There we go.
And I mean, it was like that. Like you said, it was just kind of like, felt
Yeah.
woozy and didn't really enjoy it. And so I got off. I
Yeah.
also gained I mean, probably like 50 pounds or something while I was on it too.
Hey,
So
I
I
could not
was
even
like,
imagine you with 50 more pounds on you. That'd
oh
be
yeah. Oh yeah.
crazy. Jesus. Yeah, but so you keep running into things like that when you're in the
Yeah.
military, and then you go, oh, okay, so I guess this is really not for me. So
Mm-hmm. So like time to get out.
you can see I got the Ina Gardner uh, cup. I don't know if you saw that
Oh
clip
my
of
God,
her
I love
making.
it.
I had to bring that into fruition just because it's a lot of contemplation going on here.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
go anywhere. What did they say? They said that alcohol sales have went up over 50%.
It's
Might
yeah.
have been might have been 80%. It was somewhere around there though. 50 to
Uh-huh.
80, somewhere in that range.
I know. It's been a real incline on alcohol sales. And out here
Hmm.
in Ohio, they announced that restaurants are allowed to deliver alcohol now.
I
So
saw
yeah.
that.
Yeah, your Mexican restaurants can deliver margaritas and stuff, and it's just like, wow.
I mean, but that does beg the question also, like, yeah, so they should always be able to do that then. If you can do it now,
Yeah.
you guys can justify it, then you can do it.
Do
I
it
mean,
later. Yeah, right? I mean, are they gonna take that service away once they roll out? I mean,
you're gonna try, but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is one of those things where I hate to speak on, like, I hate to try to like speak on it like I know what I'm talking about. I
Right.
don't. And but it always like kind of boggles my mind when they set a date like, oh yeah, May, it'll be all good. You guys will
Yeah.
be back in action.
Right.
What are you basing that on?
Yeah.
Like, unless so the only way you can base that on something factual is if you administered this so you know how long it takes to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But if it's naturally just happened, how do you know? How do you know it's not going to bastardize? How do you know it's not going to mutate? How do you know? I don't know. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's just that's just a thought that pops in, and then then you have to grab a nice Smirnoff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know why they made it like this, but you can see that
I
that
know
looks
it's
a
good,
lot
but it
like
looks like a little Christmas scene or holiday
yeah,
scene.
very Christmassy, snow
Yeah.
globy. But I just bought this, so
Really? I think
yeah.
Rudolph's like, let's think about better times. I'm like, that was a good time.
So it's like, what the hell? I'm like, whatever, whatever, guys. I mean, it's a topsy-turvy world currently.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
is.
Have you been like thinking about your mortality more now?
Oh yeah. I mean, now it's just one of those things that like this is a reality that I never thought possible. I mean, never. So now
Not
it's
in a
like,
million
well,
years.
okay,
Mm.
what do we what do we do now?
Right. How many shows did you watch about this?
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, all the pandemic movies and stuff like that.
The
I mean,
pandemic movies,
yeah,
the
end of the world movies, all those, you know.
was that show everyone loves with all the zombies?
Oh, Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
We get. I had to travel to downtown San Diego.
Uh-huh.
Totally looked like Walking Dead. Because like downtown San
Yeah.
Diego has a lot of homeless.
Oh
They
yeah.
were mad aggressive. And they all had masks on, and they were just gonna, still like wandering around and stuff and looking all crazy. I was
Oh.
like, wow, this really looks like that. And it was like
Yeah.
a bunch of cops everywhere, and like it was like cordoned off where you couldn't walk over here, you couldn't go this way and that way, and no
Yeah.
mask, you can't walk down the street. It's like that's crazy. I never in a million years, I would have thought that this would have came to the U.S. Other
Uh-uh.
places this happens all the time, but
Oh
to
yeah.
us, it's
Yeah. And I never thought like I mean, when this whole thing started, I didn't take it all that seriously because we've had so many other, bird flu, swine flu, like all these other things that come by and it's like, oh yeah, it's just another one of those. We were fine, everyone's fine.
right.
And it starts hitting and it was like, what? Oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah. And then someone passes away that
Yep.
maybe indirectly.
Yep.
This basketball player's name's Carl Anthony Towns.
Mm-hmm.
Good basketball player, all-star, all that stuff. His mom just passed away. He's 23 or 4, maybe 5.
Wow.
And his mom probably was in her 30s, late 30s, 40s, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And he announced she was sick. Within weeks, she passed away. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I know who that is. I don't know him, but
Yeah.
I know who that is. And then, like,
Right.
for his mom to die, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so this is
This
real,
is
real, real.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've seen several people, either get it or pass away. There's a comedian local to me here in Cleveland who recently got it. Fortunately, he's fine. He's made a full recovery, but he's only 34 and he got it. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what the crazy thing is too. And from what I know, no pre-existing conditions
Right.
or anything that made him susceptible. But like, yeah, that was kind of the other thing too was which is kind of weird how when it started, it was like, it's just going to hit the old people. It's fine. Just the old
Right.
people. Like, what was that?
So
Okay.
they made it sound like they were really trying to like
Yeah.
someone really did implemented so that they can get rid of old people and
Right.
the less desirables. That's what it sounded like.
It
So I'm like,
did.
oh, this is really weird, man. But now I've heard different. Have
Yeah.
you heard, the new stuff is like, no, it's hitting whoever. And then I
Yeah.
heard the reaction to it is different now. Remember before they were just saying it attacks your respiratory system?
Right.
Now they're saying it causes strokes
Oh
and
my
this, that,
God.
and the other thing. Like, huh? Like,
Oh boy.
if you didn't have a reason to stay in the house,
Yeah, now. Yeah, now.
that's a good one. I mean, luckily the gardener over here, he's a great guy. He showed up at around 8 a.m.
Yeah.
To go ahead and you know do the lawn. He's really good with that blower thing. Did that for probably about an hour and a half. But I mean, I guess, just because I couldn't continue sleeping, I'm not going to be mad about that. I'm going to think of it. I'm going to take it, make it positive, because he would have been doing it right now and have been hella loud. I wouldn't be able to hear you. So,
There we go.
you there?
You just gotta look at the positives of everything, flipping it.
That's it. That's what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Switch it.
Well, and that brings me a good point. So you're a comedian and you're an actor, and I find you have a really great social media presence. You are
Appreciate it.
able to have genuine and inspiring content out there, and then also incredibly funny, which is a
Thank you.
very hard thing to do. It's very hard to not be. I mean, they say comedy comes in the complaint, and so it's just
Yeah.
very hard to not be a negative comedian.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of my buddies that are comedians are along those lines.
Like doom and gloom. Yeah. I know mine too. Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things of you know like your mentality towards life, my mentality towards comedy, and it never came from a negative space. Yeah, I might talk about something that's like it was hurtful at the time, but I still always try to look, towards the positive, and that's not in it probably comes across authentic because I deal with anxiety, I deal with depression, like
Yeah.
we're talking about. I take Prozac and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a constant reminder to me, like, anything that I'm telling you, the reason why I'm telling you is because I'm telling myself. So maybe that comes across a little more authentic, because if I'm saying it to you, then I thought it too and was like,
Right.
okay, well, that helped me. Let me see if it'll help somebody else.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I
I need to hear it so somebody else does too.
That's
Yeah.
how I think of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, that's a great way. I mean, they say that with comedy as well. It's like, if it's funny to you, chances are you'll find your audience. There's going to be somebody else that it's funny too. And so I enjoy that you've got that same mentality as far as your posts, where it's like, if I need to hear this, somebody else is going to need to hear it today. So let's just get it out there.
definitely. And it's so random. Like, sometimes you're posting it and you're thinking to yourself, like, nobody wants to hear this crap. But then, then you get a message out of nowhere from, Stockholm, Sweden, and they're like, oh, your post, get me through my days and da da da. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. Even if it's just one, it's at least it reached somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right. And
yeah,
like you said, even if it doesn't, it's still for you anyways. That's a great way of it's like, it's just for you.
right, right.
Yeah.
Because think about your, like, if you think of your comedy set and where it came from, like the beginning of it, like the origin of whatever you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
probably was not it was probably a situation that you were like mortified about.
Oh, sure.
So it's like, it's so personal to you,
Yeah.
but it's funny. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's funny, and I know people will find it funny, and especially when they attach it to knowing me and then hearing the story, it's like, okay, yeah, and then you're like, okay, so then you gotta shape it and mold it into a presentable version of the same story. And then, once you put it out there, then everybody attaches themselves to it, and then they start, giving their feedback on it and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of lifts the burden of whatever it was beforehand, and then it changes into something totally different. It takes on a life of its own, where it's like, okay, well, yeah, at the time it really hurt me, but I shared it. A bunch of people could identify, and now it makes you feel pretty good that that it's not just me.
Right. Right. How, So how did you get into comedy? I mean, you made a switch, Air Force to comedy. It's not a direct path, I should say.
Well, I was a cop in the Air Force, and that's pretty comedy. The you want to know some of the worst like senses of humor, like, you know, not just a lot of negativity there, but
Oh
it's
wow.
just it's something that you develop, you
Hmm.
know, especially being a cop. You have to, of course, have a sense of humor because you deal with like the worst of the worst all the time. So it's like, you know, so you got to find a comedy in it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I was like, it was like 7, and my brother was in Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi, and my
Mhm.
brother was living out there with my grandma, and he came back from Mississippi, and he literally, we were going to bed, and he was quoting Eddie Murphy, "Delirious" to me.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was just like literally going, yeah. He just, you know, asked me like, "Have you seen Eddie Murphy Delirious?" And I was like, "Nah, you know, I'm 7,
Uh-huh.
so of course I haven't seen it." But she's like, "It's so funny, blah blah blah." So he's just like doing all the sketches, and like we're in bed, but he's just like telling me all the
Tell them
jokes and
all the
stuff, and
jokes.
I'm rolling like, but I'm
Yeah.
in, you know what I'm saying? I'm 7, and I'm listening to this, and I'm like, wow, who is this Eddie Murphy person? Never seen him before. And then I finally saw him, and I'm like, oh, he kind of looks like me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Before that, you know, everybody looked like Prince or Michael Jackson, you know,
Right.
like this hair and his light skin and
Yeah.
pointy noses. They don't look like me. Like I can't do the same thing as them, even though my first love was dancing. But anyway,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, man, I was like, I used to be, you know, like the serious hip hop dancer. I danced against like um uh Far Side and
Wow.
yeah, you remember what are they called? Black Eyed Peas. Used
Oh
to dance
yeah.
against them all the time. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so that was like my thing. That was like my introduction to performing. But
Yeah.
back to the 7-year-old, heard about that, saw Eddie Murphy, saw that he kind of resembled me.
Mm.
And then I saw Raw, I believe. And
Oh
then I was
yeah.
like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I took it really serious, Kelly. That's
Uh-huh.
the thing. Even as a kid, I always took it really serious. So I never, like, I was a class clown, but I wasn't like
But you
a class clown that was just like looking for attention. I was really hitting you with the joke, and I would wait, even in class, I would wait to see if they thought it was funny. So I would, you know, if somebody say something, then I come with the reply. Then I would wait to hear, like, to see. Okay, did that work?
yeah.
Okay, no, it didn't work. Okay, cool. Let me go back and work on my. Even in second grade, I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't just like disruptive, wild, you know, type of person, but I was always serious about it. So I didn't approach it till later in life, because my whole life I was crafting this, you know, like persona in my head, like, yo, you got to
What it's
be
gonna be.
on point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be, you know, you just can't dive in there. You got to know what you're saying when you go on stage. And little did I know, you don't actually have to know what you're saying at all. Like,
It helps if you do, but sometimes the funniest stuff is just when you're just going.
yeah, just riffing
Yeah.
it and riffing.
Uh-huh.
Or some people are just, you know,
They just go
weird, and
blind, yeah.
yeah, and it works for them. But so it took me a while, and then when I was in San Diego, I ended up moving to San Diego, and I worked at a school. I used to recruit people to go to the school, but they called
Oh,
me a
okay.
counselor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of a salesperson than a counselor, but you know, eventually that job worked in, because that's really not my thing. I really don't like deceiving people, or
Mm,
you know, like all that, like underhand. Like it felt underhanded. So
yeah.
so eventually that worked in, and one day I got fired. So after like 2.5 years, though, I was there
Oh,
for a
yeah.
minute.
She got fired.
Yeah, so I got fired, and the day that I got fired, I went to this comedy club we used to go to. It's called U31. You ever heard of that one
No, I
in San
haven't.
Diego?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so Byron Bowers, what's his name? Tony Baker,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Clayton Thomas, what's his name? This other dude. There's so many people, but everybody used to
Yeah.
go there and they perform. And like, since I wasn't around comedy, I don't know how comedy works. So I just used to walk up to Byron all the time and be like, "Hey man, I'm gonna perform. one day, and he'd be like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, nah, I gotta write some jokes, and then I'll come back. I'll come back.
I'll be on here one day.
Yeah, did it for like a year. I'd come up to him and be like, hey, I'm gonna get up there. And then when I got fired, I walked up to him and I was like, hey man, I want to go up this time. And he was like,
Wow.
yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, okay. But now you heard the people I just named that's on the show.
Yeah.
And then randomly, I'm just like, yeah, I want to go up there. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. So I went up there. I told the story of how I got fired. Everyone laughed. And then from that point on, I just was
stayed with it
on my way.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was really weird. It's not like anyone's comedy story you've ever heard, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I used to go to these guys. I knew those guys because the comedy scene in San Diego is totally different. It's not all like
every city is. Yeah. It's funny how
but
different
it's not
every
dog eat dog. You know what I'm saying? Like how LA, like people backstab and be all weird and stuff.
Yeah.
Like San Diego wasn't like that. So I used to just show up to people's shows and be like, hey, let me tell some jokes. But it'd be like their real show. Now I know because I've worked at comedy clubs and stuff. So now I know how it works. But then I didn't. So I just
walked in.
Like,
hey, can I get on?
Some jokes. I'm a big ass dude, so people ain't gonna tell me no. They're like, yeah, I guess go ahead. That's how I started. So I'm just like walking up to people's shows, like, hey, let me tell some jokes. Like, yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
And so all my early stuff in San Diego, I was killing it. I just show up, boom, everybody laugh, go out, we have a good time. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like I knew this was like what I was supposed to be doing. And then I ended up moving back to Orange County. When I come back to Orange County, this is my first show, Kelly. First show, I got booked as like the headliner, and it's in Huntington Beach. I forget what the club was called, but I was the headliner of it. But I promoted the whole show, and everything.
Sure.
Pretty much the whole crowd just came to see me. Nobody, the other guys didn't really have a draw like that. Not saying I have a super draw, but I had enough draw to get some people in the club.
Yeah.
So I was the headliner, and we would have probably in the range of like, I want to say 6 or 7 comics, and then me. Man, we did 5 shows. I bombed every show. Bomb. Like, I was just killing it. I was over here murdering it. And then as soon as we moved over, but that's too different, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I hadn't experienced that yet. You can even imagine, like, you've been killing it, and then you the headliner, like, yeah, I'm about to really kill it now.
Yeah.
And then you tell them jokes. And people I know them.
Right.
They're staring at me like this.
Oh, no.
The whole show like that.
Oh, no. And and it's people too, not even giving you the fake pity laugh. That's that's rough.
Hey, they doing head nods.
Oh, no.
And then after the show, and this is a tough comedy lesson. You're only going to learn it by going on stage. But as people would come up and be like, oh, no, that was funny. Oh, what? You didn't audibly laugh, so I didn't know if you thought it was funny. Oh, man, you know what? I was just so caught up, like, listening to what you were saying. I'm looking, you know what I'm saying, just tripping on the fact that you saying that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, huh?
No, that's true. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. So you just listen, and people will come up and, 80% of the joke is real, 20% is me taking a little liberty, and they come up and be like, "Hey, so when did you go to Vegas?" I'm like, what are you talking about? In the joke, you said you went to Vegas and then you did this and that. Like, so you was listening to the you wasn't even trying to laugh. You just listening to the damn joke, trying to figure out what I was. Like, don't invite people to your early shows. I'm telling you, any comedian that listens to this, do not invite people because they just pick apart the joke the whole time. Like, I didn't know you had a Ferrari. For the joke, I have a Ferrari. I don't
actually have the Ferrari. Yeah. It's just always a funny lesson we have to explain to your family and friends. Like, no. I don't have. This is called a joke. I wrote it down. I'm saying it.
That's all. That's all, guys. What?
It's hard for
Oh.
comedians because we use our own names. I mean, unless you're like an actual character, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you use your own name on stage. And so a lot of times people, even though it's an exaggerated version of yourself, people think
Right.
it's really you and what you're saying. And it's like, well, not,
Exactly.
it's based in, a lot of my stuff's based on truth, but it's exaggerated. Let's,
Yeah, that's all.
yeah.
That's all. It can't, to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong or if you feel the same way. If it's not based in truth, I don't feel like it comes across the way it's supposed to. Like if
Right.
I do a completely just like exaggerated version of a joke,
Uh-huh.
like most of the time, someone else said that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever found that? Like
Mhm.
I'll try to just like say something like something that I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just make up this premise and da da da, and then I'll say it, and then like a little while later I'll check, and then someone said something very similar to what I said, and that just of course that happens with comedy all the time.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
only way to keep it authentic is only say stuff that happened to you,
Yeah.
so that way you know what I mean. You won't have that problem. But
Yeah.
we had a situation, Kelly. I'm gonna tell you right now, where D.L. Hughley said a joke. I don't know if you ever met Frank. He works at Irvine Improv. Friendly Frank. He has the afro.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Friendly Frank said a joke, and I said a joke, and I guess DL said it on his special. I never watched the special,
Uh-huh.
and I've never watched Frank do stand up. But
Yeah.
I think maybe like once. So I never heard what they were talking about.
Right,
So
right.
I say the joke. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of my like kind of bigger jokes, and always gets a laugh. So you know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
one day I'm listening to some comedy channel, and then DL says a joke. He almost said it verbatim, just like me.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, because there's a lot of people that'll write down your joke and then go give it to a bigger comic.
Yeah.
So so that's what I thought happened. So I went to my manager. I was like, hey, I think this dude stole my joke. And he's like, okay. I tell him the joke, and he goes, my manager says, oh, Frank says a joke like that. Talking about Friendly Frank.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, Friendly Frank says a joke like that. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. I'm like, no way.
All
I
three
said
of
a
us.
joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, and then I mentioned it online, and then Friendly Frank came out there and was like, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yo, bro, I never even seen your stand up, so I don't know how I would know what you said, but whatever. And my
Yeah.
manager was like, look, nobody knows who you are, so just keep saying the joke until he's like, if you think the joke is funny, just keep saying it until you have a problem. But at this point, no one knows who you are, so just
Just
keep saying
keep,
the joke. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I just kept saying it, but and I still say it to this day. But it was weird. It was one of those moments where I was like, "What? I can't believe this dude." And who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows who had it first, Kelly? No one knows.
Right. Right. I know that's what's so strange about comedies. Like you can have an idea and then, well, I mean, there's that book, The Steal Like an Artist, where it's like all original ideas are taken. And so you just have to make it your own and, go with whatever feels right to you. Yeah, it
Have you
is
had that
hard.
happen?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a joke that a I had a joke where it was all about like getting someone had approached me when I've told this on the podcast before, so I was like, okay, let me keep this short. But I had somebody like approach me while I was walking down LA and shout at me and try to lure me into their car, right? And I've made a whole joke
Yes.
about it. And then
Mhm.
I had a comedian say that I stole it from somebody else. He was like,
Mhm.
yeah, I heard a girl do that 2 years ago, and you better think about changing it because you clearly stole that. And I was like, you think I'm the only girl in LA who's had someone,
You
or you
almost
think
got
she was
kidnapped.
the only girl in LA and I stole it from her? Like,
Yeah.
no, it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, man. That's a very specific thing to be talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
uh,
then I did another show once where a guy had a similar story to that. And it
mhm.
was a very similar joke,
Mhm.
and it was just like, yeah, like people have that experience. It's something we've lived through. And yeah, we were gonna write jokes about it. And so it's so weird.
Right.
It happens. It happens all the time.
Right. Yeah. They call it. they call it like-mindedness.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It is kind of
that's
nice
just
though when there is especially when it happens with like comedians you look up to. I can't even think about what jokes I've had that happen to because I've just like heard it and been like, nope, not doing it anymore. Because
right,
like when
right.
you're like on a premise and you hear a comedian you admire do it, and you're like, oh yes, look at me, I'm on the right track.
Exactly. I mean, it's like even with the D.L. Hughley thing, like if I knew he stole it, I'd be like, oh, not
Yeah,
bad.
hey.
But I'm like, but of course you question everything. Like, did I hear that joke like subliminally or something? And like,
Yeah, yeah,
when did I hear it? Because I don't remember ever hearing it. But
yeah.
I'll still do that joke to this day until the point of where me and DL are performing on the same shows. Then I can do the joke.
Well,
So
then at that point, you guys should make a point of who tells it better. Like,
right,
yeah,
right.
just close
You
the
know
show with each of you telling the joke.
there's no question who tells it better, Kelly.
I know. Obviously you, of course.
I mean,
Duh.
I wouldn't be in this 2-bedroom apartment driving a 2007 Mazda 3 if not for my comedy prowess. Oh, darn it. Yeah. But it was just it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And now we're in the era of where people just take your stuff, use it, and just move on with their lives. And you're like,
Yeah.
no, I worked really hard on that. They're just like,
Mm-hmm.
nope. I was like, good, post it, and that's mine now. Like somebody did that to me the other day.
Oh, really?
Urkel did that to me the other day.
What?
Yeah, Jaleel White got me. I posted. You may have seen it. The little kid, and he was like, "I hate this house." Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
posted that. Yeah, it did pretty good. He steals it and puts it on his thing, and then people do that. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
But he posted. He got 73,000
Oh,
hits,
man.
and then a dude that follows me stole it from him and posted it, and I could see that he took it from him. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, I posted that. You didn't even say no, but I posted it. You didn't rip it from me. You rip it from him.
From
He's got
him.
73,000. I think I had like 600 or something like
Yeah.
views. I'm like, wow, you can't even. But you're not supposed to take things in like that. You're supposed to just, let that roll right off. You had your version of success, and Urkel had his version of success. So, we're at different places in life.
What's going to be your version of success? Like, what do you
The
have?
ultimate goal of success?
Yeah.
The ultimate goal would just be to. I'm just a creative being. I love doing comedy. I love acting. I love writing. And to be successful would be able to, monetarily take care of my family, take care of myself. I think on their end, though, they just want me to be able to take care of myself.
Right.
but in my head, my motivation is always like, I would love to have enough money to where I could just like see my family anytime I want and like take them anywhere they want to go anytime I want and just, make sure everybody's good so we can enjoy each other, without worrying about bills and all that stuff. So that's the ultimate goal. And that's what I work towards, and that's my motivation. Mostly just like taking care of the family,
Yeah.
because I've done a bunch of stuff. Like I've done enough stuff to where you'll never forget who I am. You can Google me. So that's that's pretty much, I mean, that's success. And the fact that I said I was going to do it, I did it to a level of where I get paid for it.
Yep.
And I'm pretty recognized, but not as recognized as I would like to be. But so there's nothing there as far as like being famous going, because I would be okay with just being a writer and writing for somebody else. I'd be okay with that. I don't need to be like in front of the camera or anything like that. People sometimes see me and I wear a lot of accessories and all the stuff, and people take that like some people say, black people say, oh, you're cooning, or or you're what's up with that look, and I come in and I'm wearing a certain type of clothes and people take it a certain way. I dress like this, Kelly. This is not I don't know if you can see behind me, but this is how I dress. So it's not putting on airs, you know what I'm saying? This is my regular.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is how I dress. So I nothing will change with that. More money, less money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but either way,
Yeah.
I'll still be the same person. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
I
that's,
would love to move to like an Ohio, buy a property, and then
yeah.
travel back out here. That would be awesome.
You know what? It's interesting, the Ohio comedy scene, because I started in Los Angeles and then moved back here to be with
Hmm.
family. And it's like you said, every city's got a different scene.
Hmm.
And Cleveland is the one I'm particularly in. They they all want to get paid for everything they do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
they're clueless.
no, I mean, I was
Clueless.
floored. I was like, people were starting paying me when I got back here, and I was like, this is great. Like,
Hey,
and they were like, "You're really gonna do that, Mike? It only pays $20." I was like, $20? Like, are you kidding me? Like, you know how many open mics I hosted out in LA where all I got paid was like maybe a free drink? Like, I did it for
maybe.
years. You know, I was like, no way, this is great out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
it's
anytime, oh, excuse me, what
oh
are you
no,
saying?
no, good. Oh no, no.
I
I
was
was
just
good.
saying, anytime I try to like mentor younger comics,
Yeah.
and you know, like they don't even understand. Like I'm putting you on a show. I'm putting you on a show,
Yeah.
and sometimes I put them on shows where they get money, and they'll
Yeah.
be like, and they'll ask me like, "Oh, how much does it pay?" and this and that. And I'm like, "Bro, you, you know, you don't get paid until like after like 10 years
Right.
usually.
Yeah.
Exceptions to the rule, but like you know, that's
It's
not
usually like once you have the followers, you know, once you have the audience that you make money for the club, that's when they start paying you. Out here, it's like
exactly
it's so funny because I mean it's a small scene. There's not that many comedians. It's not
right,
like LA where, you know, you get bumped or it's like, oh, someone's doing the Tonight Show, so you're off the show. I'm like, oh well, okay,
right.
yeah, like they need to practice their set before going on TV. Okay, can't argue with that. You know, here
Right.
it's everyone doing shows and there's only like two clubs and it's just whatever, and so it's just funny, but like, yeah, everyone, you know, I get asked all the time. I have like a bar show that I host, and I get asked all the time like, how much does it pay? And I'm like, I
What?
pay just because I like to pay because it makes me feel good to pay.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah, I do it, but you know, really, I'm like, but really, I shouldn't have to. This is 10 minutes at a bar.
Right.
Like,
And people, when I used to book my shows, people wouldn't understand that I was paying them. I'm paying you. The club's not paying you, and the
right.
club's not paying me. I'm paying you out of my
Yes.
pocket
Yeah.
because you had to travel over here, and I feel bad because I would hate to travel and not get paid. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that was just you know respect for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. You said the bumping thing. Whitney Cummings bumped me one time. I was supposed to be the first comedian to go
Yeah.
up. I was at Flappers, and she bumped me to work on some material, and like totally just like came out of nowhere.
Yep.
She had her joke book with her, and she just went up on stage and did 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like the show just started.
Yeah.
she, she worked on material for
5
45
minutes.
minutes, and then was
Oof.
they're like, Courtney Bang Rise, guys.
Feeling good. And then yeah, and then how much time did you do after that? I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, that's the hard thing. After people have been sitting there for 45 minutes, it doesn't matter who they're watching. After 45 minutes, it's like
Yeah.
a one comedian who's not the headliner.
She was, and just imagine, like, you know what I'm saying? Like her, like this. Yeah, and
Oh no. You know what? Yeah. I've
I
seen
was, I was like,
I've seen her
bro,
do that before at Flappers. And I mean, no shame, she's got to work on stuff and everyone's got their own
I
process.
understand.
But yeah, I am like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, that's and like you can tell, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Heart, yeah.
because she's up here,
Uh-huh.
she's not here,
She's not with the
she's up
audience.
here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's just like pretty much just reading the shit and then like trying to gauge like how it went over or whatever. But for the most part, she's up here, so she don't even care what this audience like how she leaves it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
She's not worried about that. She's just gonna go boom, boom,
My
boom.
jokes worked. Okay, good night.
Yeah, all right. See you later. Sorry about the 45
Or go
minutes.
try it at another club now and see how that goes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm like, Wow. I get it, what can you say? I got bumped by Damon Wayans one time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I love David Wayans, so that was okay because I just sat there, and just marveled at him because I think
Yeah.
he's amazing. But yeah, that's a tough follow.
That is, yeah.
And the way that he does his comedy, he's so like he's methodical, and he's like, like he's not everybody's cup of tea when he does stand up. People
Right.
either you like him or you don't because
Yeah.
like he's really methodical and he's really like, it comes across like a conversation. And
Right.
not everybody's into that type of comedy. Some people just want like jokey joke, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like to follow that was I kept telling myself, you can just leave. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's gonna blame you if you leave after David Wayans. Like, you know what I mean? But then the competitive side of me is like, yeah, but if I can get some laughs after David Wayans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I mean, I stayed and I did get some laughs. I'm you can't ignore me when I'm on stage. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You're either gonna say that dude was stupid, or you're gonna say something.
Right.
That's it. You're gonna say something. No one doesn't say anything if I leave. Once I hit the stage, you're gonna say something. You're either gonna say that guy was whack. You're gonna say something though. Yeah, and everybody says something. Kelly, I promise you, every time I go on stage, the person that follows me says something about me. I've never been on stage and the next person just tell their jokes and leave. Never in the history.
They always comment on you.
Like maybe now I've been doing it for I think like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
And every time I leave the stage, oh, you see that guy? It's like, what are you doing? Like, just tell your joke. Like,
that's wild. He got presents about you.
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, they can't
so
ignore
it must
you.
be something. And it's like,
yeah, it's that be so good they can't ignore you. You got it.
Right. I mean, it could be. I mean, whatever it is, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I had one comedian. Check this out. Now, you're a seasoned comedian. You know what I'm talking about. You book shows. You perform at shows. You know the whole how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up for a show, and I would show up early because the military in me always makes me want to. Yeah. I'm usually like an hour or two early. So I showed up to the venue early. The guy that books the shows, talked to him, and the other guy, I guess that helps him. He goes, hey, the host of the show is here, but the rest of the comedians, they're not here yet. So, and I was supposed to be going on like second to last or something like that. Yeah. But I just, I always show up early. And they go, well, since none of the other comedians are here, we're going to have you introduce the host.
What?
Okay. I was like, all right. So they're like, we're going to have you introduce the host and just do like 12 minutes and then introduce the host. I was like, okay. I don't know why you guys are doing that, but that's weird.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
Host. Okay.
Yeah. So I go up, I do my 12 minutes, and 2 mixed reviews. They were mostly mad because the nerd in me, the whole joke was the nerd in me could not enjoy the movie Black Panther because I kept finding contradictions in the way that they were portraying the character in regards to the comic book.
Okay.
But I'm a black man, so, you know what I'm saying? I was supposed to just be like, yeah, it's good. But I'm like, no, he's supposed to use his phasers. And then, like, people went, so they were mad at me because they thought I was just talking crap about Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Yeah, that was when it first came out. But so anyway, I introduced the guy. He comes on stage, and he literally did my set verbatim backwards. So he walked on stage and just started talking crap about me, and then just did my set in reverse, and just like the last thing I talked about, and then just went in reverse for probably a good like 25 minutes. That's all he did.
What?
Right. I'm like, what are you doing? And my mind was blown. I was like, I've never seen anyone do that before. That's the most unprofessional, goofy thing I've ever seen. Not to mention, you guys set me up. Like, you told me to go up here and perform before this guy, and now he comes up and then makes fun of me for 20 minutes. So I was like,
yeah.
It's like, so I felt like they kind of like set me up for something. I don't know what, but like I said, some people, they see me and then they
Yeah.
get rubbed the wrong way because they think I'm one way because maybe the way I dress or the way I carry myself or whatever, but it's just clothes, guys. I'm
Yeah,
making
right.
weed. But 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Called me a coon. Kept
Crazy.
saying I was cooning. I'm like, dude, you can't
Oh,
talk that way. So I definitely had to talk with him after the show.
oh, for sure. Yeah.
We had to have a little, just wrap a taste on that one because you can't keep saying coon and me in the same sentence and think I'm just gonna be like,
You're gonna be
oh,
okay with that. Yeah.
that
No.
was really funny how you took all my material and then made your own material out of my material. That was hilarious.
That was so much fun. I don't, and that's not even enjoyable for the audience. Like, that's not enjoyable for the audience at all to watch something like that go down.
Man, I'm
It's
telling you,
awkward for them. It's also the same jokes again.
right.
So that
So when he's doing it, so the whole audience is going like this.
oh my
Like,
God.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
like,
looking for me the whole time.
um,
Like,
can we just hear that? What?
but see the angle he was taking, he was trying to, he was saying like, I'm a coon and I'm cooning and that's like a term like I'm,
Yeah.
like I'm tap dancing. Like you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Yeah.
yeah. So he was trying to take that angle and that's how he was telling his jokes, but everybody kept coming up to me like, what is he
What?
doing? I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know, bro. I have no idea. Even if a comedian went before me and I have attention deficit disorder, so I would never retain whatever the hell they did anyway. But
Yeah.
if I if I did, but I just don't. That's not how I think. I'm not.
No.
There's no
Yeah.
competitive part of me when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking at them going, "That's my competition." There's no competition. There's only one of me.
Right.
You guys are you. I'm me.
And
That's it.
there's plenty of space out there for comedy. There's plenty of places to perform.
Right.
There's and if you can't find it, then start your own or become funnier, because if you're
Or
not getting
that.
booked at all, then like, all right, let's look at your jokes.
Yeah, maybe we have to rework some stuff. But
Yeah.
you
But I mean,
know,
I'm the same way as you. Like, I'm not very competitive. I'd rather help people. I'd rather boost people up than like, fight
yeah,
over gigs and spots and tear people down. Like, usually when
right.
I'm hosting, I probably should get better about making jokes at the other comedians or whatever when it's bad, when it's awkward. But usually I
Hmm.
just kind of go, all right, blow right past that. Like, let
Right.
me tell a
But
joke
that's
that's
what
completely
a host
unrelated.
does.
What's that?
That's what a host does.
Yeah, it's like
A
just
host, a host is not there to like. A host is there to move the show along. He's not, just
yeah,
keep the people interested in what's going on. It ain't like,
right.
you gotta go into a whole, like shtick. Just, But as long as like, like when if you go up there and you bomb and a host will come up and be like, okay, that was weird. But all right, we're moving
Let's
right
move
along.
on.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, that's
yeah.
fine. That's fine. I understand
Hmm.
that. But to do my act in reverse
Is
and like,
that's I've never heard anything like that. That's so weird.
and he's a bigger comic than I am. He's
What?
he's like he's bigger. He's a bigger comic than me. So I think that's why he thought he could say that,
You could
and then
do it.
like
No.
nobody, no one would say anything to him. So but
Yeah.
there's, I'm all about respect and I give it, so I would like to receive it.
Hmm.
I don't do anything to, I didn't do anything to him. I actually talked to him before we did that, excuse me. And I was, telling him because he did some other stuff and it was funny. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw you last time. You were really funny, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, thanks, man. And go on stage and like try to like tear my whole act apart. I was like,
Wow.
that's so
So
weird.
weird.
And then when I approached him about it, he was like, man, it's just jokes, man. It's just jokes. I
Yeah.
was like,
No.
no,
No.
it's not jokes if you're talking about me and then you're talking about me and like,
In a
it's
hateful
jokes if
way.
you're like, take that, if you said, oh, Courtney banged Rice, he's a big guy, and then you just told your own joke, like in reference to me being a big black guy or something, and then you told
Right.
your
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
No,
I've seen that. I've seen that many times. I've done that before, where it's like,
right,
oh, something you said has sparked a memory of a joke that I have that I wasn't planning on telling.
right,
But since that worked, like, here's my joke. That's just a
right,
completely different spin on the same topic. Like, yeah, that works, but
right.
to just
But
be
just
like,
straight up,
wow,
verbatim,
wow.
backwards. So I was like, that was weird, and
Uh-huh.
it was a bunch of weird energy, and it was one of those situations where I just like I had to kind of step back for a minute and just
Yep.
because I couldn't really figure that one out. But just like we were talking about, I think when you're, I think I'm dangerous to the regular version of what a black comedian is, even the version of what a regular comedian is, because
Yeah.
I don't really fit in any real box. I'm
Right.
from Mississippi. I moved to California when I was young, but I always went back to Mississippi, and then most of my life I grew up in Orange County. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm not one way or the other. I'm only this way, and then people like to put you in a box, so they want
Right.
to figure out like what type of guy. So when I walk on stage, you might see like what people may call swagger or drip or something like that, and they're going, "Oh, okay, he gonna be like this type of guy." And
Yeah.
then I'm talking to them, I'm like, "Hey, hey guys?" And they're like, "What?
Yeah.
Why do you talk like that?" And I'm like, "This is just how I talk. I'm not." And I even told a joke about it one time. I was like, I walked on the stage and I started talking. And I was like, "Hey, I'm from Orange County." And I was like, "You guys know where Orange County is?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know that because you may hear me talk and think I'm doing a white guy voice. I'm not. This is actually really how I talk. I grew up in Orange County most of my life. This is
Yeah.
how we talk. So I'm just not a white guy voice because everybody be mad about white guy voices. Like, I've even heard like mainstream comedians like complain about black comedians doing a white guy voice. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing a white guy voice. I don't think I have a
How I
white guy
talk.
voice, but people in Mississippi think I have a white guy voice, and other areas if I go. What do you think?
No, I wouldn't have. I don't know. That's such a strange.
Something you shouldn't
People
have to
talk
think
how they
about.
talk. I used to get, because when I was living in LA, I lived in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. And then I was outside a lot getting tan because I'm from Ohio and we don't get sunshine. So out in LA, I was like, yes, the sun. Like, thank God.
Yeah.
So I started looking Hispanic, even though I'm, Midwestern Italian, like Olive Garden Italian, like
Italian, okay.
totally. But yeah, so it was just always interesting because there would be so many times where I would get people trying to speak to me in Spanish, which I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I don't speak the language. And then
Yeah.
I would get like one person called me a coconut.
Coconut, what?
I was like, no, I'm sorry.
I'm a
Like,
cannoli. I'm not a coconut. What are you
yeah,
talking
that's so good.
Jeez.
I wish I had that in my pocket. I was like,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
You got it.
yeah.
You
It's
got it
always
now. So, but
people like and what's really funny is I met girls when I was living out there. They were from Puerto Rico, and so they
mhm,
actually, they spoke Spanish and whatever, but they were blonde hair, blue eyes, and so we'd go
mhm,
out together, and it was always like people never knew how to react because it was like, no,
right.
actually, the Hispanic ones are right here, and I'm here. I don't know.
I'm the white.
Yeah,
I'll be the white representative for
yeah,
tonight. So that's funny though. You do have like
yeah,
you could be Greek,
yep.
you
I
could be
get that one too.
Hispanic. You could even I mean Hollywood wise, you could even be Middle Eastern.
Yeah, uh-huh. I've gotten that too. It's funny, like
Hmm.
wherever. And so I kind of blend in on some areas, but I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know you were all white.
Mm-hmm.
White.
Yep.
And your last name is Thewlis, right?
Thewlis,
Thewlis.
yeah.
And what
Yeah,
is
which
that?
is English.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my
Uh,
mom's all Italian, and then my dad's like English, kind of just mixed European.
from
So
England.
he's not from England, no, no. But
What's the heritage from? What area?
oh gosh, see, I don't even know. But I know there is a Thewlis bar. I recently discovered that there's a Thewlis bar in England, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check that out someday.
That sounds like straight England though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not
Mhm.
that don't sound like it's, Irish
Yeah.
or Scottish or anything like that. Because personally, I'm Irish.
Oh,
Not
really?
by choice. Not by choice, but I definitely have some Irish blood in me. And
Uh-huh.
the name Courtney is Irish and it means of the court
Oh.
or short nose.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Who knew? Hmm? My mom was naming me. Okay, so when my mom was naming me,
Yeah.
she said she was naming the baby Courtney, whether it was a girl or a guy.
Huh.
Booyah, this guy. But and the last name Rice. Everyone when I say to people, like, what do you think the last name Rice is? What origin do you think? And
Mhm.
people are stupid, so they always say Asian.
Yeah.
Asian people eat rice, I guess. I don't know.
I get yeah.
But that's an English last name as well, and
Really?
it's an Irish last name.
Oh,
It's
wow.
started off as Rice, and as it went through the years, it turned into Rice. And so Courtney is English and Irish, and Rice is English and Irish. So, you know, random,
Yeah.
right?
And see,
And
my name's
those,
Kelly, which is obviously Irish, but I'm not Irish at all.
no,
My mom just
no,
liked it.
I can tell. I can tell. So my Irish blood. I did that 23 and Me. That's all I did. 23 and Me, and they were like, "You're 8% Irish." I was like, "I knew it.
I
I knew
knew
it."
it. Knew it.
I'm a big fan of the old potatoes, and really like drinks. So I'll eat a haggis, I guess. That's more Scottish, but I think they
Yeah,
still do it in Ireland too.
they
So
probably.
hilarious, man. But yeah, so yeah, that was the beginning. Start off around there, and
Yeah.
the funny thing is, Kelly, I was actually acting.
Before comedy? Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
no, that's okay.
But yeah, so I was acting beforehand. And that's an even weirder story.
Really?
Yeah, so I used to work as a bouncer, right? I used to
Okay.
work as security. So I would bounce and I would do security. I do like security on location, whatever,
Yeah.
just all over the place. And I was working with this company, and they happened to be working at Dennis Rodman's nightclub. So I heard about that. I said, okay, I need some hours.
Yeah.
Went over there. I started working. So I worked for Dennis Rodman for about 2.5 years.
Wow.
Not only did I work at his club, I also would be personal security. Like, we go to Vegas, we go to, he used to have crazy parties at his house in Newport. We go over there, we protect him over there, and just around the city and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Wherever he was going, we go with him and make sure he was good. And so that's what I was doing. I was
Oh my
working there.
God.
Right. Now, I'm going to make it even weirder.
Yeah.
I'm working for D-Rod, and
Uh-huh.
that's already strange. And
Yeah.
so one day, there's this weird dude. He comes in, and he's got his crazy, like, spiky hair, and he's got these weird clothes on, but he had some shoes on that I thought were dope. There was like some Nike Vandals, but they were metal, like aluminum looking. So I was
Okay.
like, "Yo," I'm like, "Those are dope." So I leaned over to him and I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "I don't know where you got those from, but those are fire. I like them." And he's like, "Oh, thanks, bro." So then we start talking, and then next thing you know, we're talking about shoes, we're talking about music and all this stuff, and so we
Yeah.
click. And so every time I see him, we talk about some more shoes and this and that and everything like that.
Mhm.
And I remember one day someone finally came up to me and was like, "Oh, you know that guy?" And I was like, "Oh, no, wait, I know him from here. I just met him." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you know that's Hobie from Baywatch." And I was like, "What? No, why would I know that? I didn't watch Baywatch." You know what I mean? Like, he's a grown man now. He was like, I think he was like 25 or 26 at the time. So I was like, I didn't know. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know that. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's him, blah, blah." So eventually, we had the conversation, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you should be on there." And so we became really cool. He invited me. No. Yeah, after we became cool, he told some other guy about me, and this other really rich guy comes over to me and says, "Hey, I'm going to make a movie. I like your look. I want you to be the lead in the movie."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I did study acting in college, but it
Okay.
was one of those things where, you know, you study it, but you're like, no one's going to ever,
Yeah, right.
I'm never going to use this. And then this guy comes up and is like, "Yeah, I want you to lead in the movie." I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. So the guy, Hobie, and me, and a bunch of other cast members all travel out to Laguna. There's an island have you ever been there?
Yeah.
It's like a little island where you can it's like a drawbridge. You gotta
Oh,
cross
wow.
over to get
Okay,
into
no, I
this
have not been
neighborhood.
there then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like only 5 houses at this island,
Oh my
and
God.
this guy has one of them. So I drive over there and I get out, and this dude, I'm telling you, just like on Cribs, with the crazy garage with the Lamborghini section, Ferrari section, Mercedes section. I was like, who is this little dude, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. So walks me in, takes me in this office. He has an office. Okay. So we go sit at this round table and we're just talking and, looking at everything. And so then everybody finally shows up. It's a table read. So we're all reading, but mind you, this is my first project. I don't really know how it works. Yeah, I studied acting, but I don't know how to really read. So he goes, "Hey, yeah, just make sure you just make it your own. Read it, but make it your own." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I'm reading the lines, and every time he has something, I'm changing the lines because I'm saying I wouldn't say it like that.
Yeah, right.
But see, I'm new, so I don't know that the cue is the line. So that person needs the line so they can continue. And I'm
Yeah.
changing everything. It might say, "Yo, run down the street," and I'm like, "Yo, blast it down the street, homie." And then the person is like,
What?
So after about an hour of me doing that, Hobie got mad and was like, and pulled the guy to the side and was like, "Hey, this guy's messing up all my lines. I can't, follow him because he keeps changing all the damn lines." And so he got all mad and he wanted the guy to tell me to stop doing that. And so he got mad and pretty much just stormed out. And so I was still there with the guy. So
wow.
He goes, "Yeah, he just got mad because you kept changing on the lines and all that." And I'm like, "Oh, my bad. You said do that." He's like, "I know." He's like, I know. He's like, "Don't worry about it. We'll talk to him." So we're walking in this hallway. As I'm leaving, I see a picture of Shaquille O'Neal, and it's signed. And I was like, "Oh, snap!" I was like, "You got a signed picture of Shaquille O'Neal?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Hey, that's dope." And he's like, "Yeah, I got it last year after I left school or whatever." And then, I haven't seen him since, but yeah, I got it after school. I was like, "Oh, school." I was like, "Okay, you still in school?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, what college you go to?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a junior in high school."
Oh my God.
What? What is going on? Twilight
Wait, what?
Zone? What is good? Now, mind you, Kelly, the reason why I know this kid is because he was at my club every night, Monday through Sunday.
Oh my God.
This 11th grader was at my club every night. He looked like a grown man, though. He had a little stubbly beard. He was built looked like as far as I knew. And he was always buying bottles and, what I'm saying, doing all that. So thought he was a grown man. Come to find out, he's a junior in high school. And he's producing a movie. And I'm supposed to be starring in. I'm like, okay. So eventually, the movie got canceled because Hobie, his name's Jeremy Jackson actually, but he wouldn't come back on to do the movie, and I guess he was the wait to make it a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, but me and him were still cool.
Yeah.
So maybe a month later, he puts me in a movie he's producing. Jeremy Jackson does. So that was my first movie, and I had a speaking part.
And what was that movie?
It was a scary movie called Exposed.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was the hero. I called the cops on the killer, Harry Hatchett.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's such a weird movie, but nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? So that was the beginning. That was the beginning of acting. See that? What was that? 15 degrees of separation?
Yeah.
Yeah. working for Dennis Rodman, meet Hobie from Baywatch, weird rich kid.
Weird rich kid.
And then, here you are. So, yeah. So when I started, I was really like, yo, I'm killing this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like my first speaking part, you know what I mean?
Right
and then
away.
Right after that, I did the Weird Al White Nerdy video. So I'm like,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
didn't
like,
realize
yo,
you were in that. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
yeah. Well, you can't miss me. It ain't one of those like walk bys.
Yeah.
You can't miss it. It's a bowling alley scene. And so I did that, and then I did that. So I'm like, yo, I'm well on my way. I'm taking over Hollywood.
Yeah.
Let's go. Man, I didn't work for like probably 6 months after the White Nerdy thing. 0 jobs. Like, you know what? I was like, I thought we were doing the thing. But
When it rains, it pours on acting stuff and comedy too. It's like you suddenly go from like having so many gigs, you're like, oh my god, how am I going to choose which one? I can't do them all. You're trying to like working your ass off trying to make it all happen, and then like the next, like you said, 6 months will go by, and you're like, oh my god, am I ever going to work again? What happened?
Wait, who said something? Somebody say something?
Yeah.
Did I piss somebody off? I don't know.
What happened? Where it ever
And
goes?
Hollywood is weird like that, and comedy is definitely weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have the seedy underbelly of comedy because I used to work at the Improv. So I used to work at the Improv in Brea, and I worked at the Improv in Irvine. So I've seen the flip side of like the management hiring a comedian and like the stuff that they would talk about the comedian, and it's like, 1 minute they're like, man, that guy, blah, 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 and they'll be saying something horrible about him. The other guy walks in the door and they're like, hey,
yeah, good to see you.
I'm not like that. I'm not like that. So that's weird. That's weird energy. Why are you doing that? Like,
yeah, right.
Like, so that was those are the most hurtful things about being in the entertainment industry is you think you make a genuine connection. I liked you from the day that I met you, knew I liked you, knew that I would like to work with you, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's for life, as far as I'm concerned. So anything you need, you just let me know. I'm there. As long as I can be there, I'll be there. And I'm like that with everything. And then, and other people aren't like that. And then,
right.
So it's disappointing, but I guess because I'm old, I'm supposed to accept it, Kelly. I'm supposed to go, oh, okay, well, I guess you can be wishy-washy if you want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to accept it. I don't accept it, Kelly.
I just want people to be truthful,
That's all. That's not that hard. You can say to me, hey, man, I don't think you're funny. Okay. That I can accept. But you, like, making some weird...
everything's... having everything's great. And then... Right. Yeah, that I don't like either.
Right. You making like snap judgments about things and
Yeah.
Based on something you heard or anything. That's so weird. Why would you listen to another person that tells stories for a living about someone else's character? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Well, this one time I heard that Kelly ate all the Triscuits when they told her not to eat the Triscuits, and she totally did.
That's it. So don't book her.
Don't book her ever.
Walk in the room. Oh, hi. Hey.
Hey, Bells. What's up, girl? What's the Triscuits? Like, what the hell, man? I don't know. But aside from that, so yeah, I was doing the acting first, and then when I started working with them, I was doing pretty good. I've done a bunch of crazy stuff. I don't know if you pay attention to all of it, but it's I'm all over the board when it comes to being on TV. So, but I did recently get to play a murderer.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes. Which is the stamp of approval for a black actor, black male actor. That's how you know.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all big black dudes got to be a murderer.
They all got to go through that rite of passage of playing the murderer at some point.
No.
So,
yeah. I murdered some young lady, and apparently I was obsessing over her in the show, and couldn't have her. I went to express my love. She did not reciprocate, and I murdered her with a
Murder.
knife, and then left her body next to me. Well, next to the bed. I didn't keep her in the bed. I put her
Sure,
on the
sure.
side of the bed, and but I hung out at her house for 3 days, and apparently I was having sex with the corpse, which
Oh,
is
wow.
yeah, yeah. Like
And
the
then you
worst
get casted
murderer
in that, and
ever.
you read the script, and you're like, and you thought of me. You thought of me for that. Thank you.
Oh, Kelly, they did not. They did it incrementally. They
Hmm.
didn't tell me all of that. They
Right.
just went,
All the
"Oh
details.
yeah, well you doing you. This is what you're doing today." I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy." And then like the next day they'll be like, "Oh yeah, and then this happened and this happened." I'm like, "Oh, what? I don't have to like do any of that, right?" Oh no, but it's implied. It's implied. Like, oh
Oh my
my
God.
God, it just kept getting progressively like worse
Weirder.
and worse. Oh
Uh-huh.
my gosh, this dude didn't get caught for 20 years.
Oh, it's based on a real story.
Yeah, it happened in
Oh
the
my gosh.
90s in the Bay Area, like San Francisco area.
Oh. Oof.
Yeah, yeah, and the only reason why he got caught was because he shoplifted and got caught shoplifting. So they printed him, and apparently that hit a little bing on the little system, and
Yeah, yeah.
so they went out looking for him, and he jaywalked right in front of some cops that were looking for him, and he jumped out, and
Wow.
yeah. When it's your time, Kels. That's all I'm trying to
I
say. And
guess.
but think about this: at the murder scene, the show is called. If you want
Yeah.
to watch it, it is on. It's called in Ice Cold Blood. I think it's called.
Ice cold. Okay. In ice cold
It's with
blood.
Ice T.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Of course.
I didn't get to meet him, but 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 yeah. So I think it's called In Ice Cold Blood. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the murderer was he wasn't convicted for 20 years, and then when they finally did convict him, they arrested him or whatever, took him in, they're questioning him about it. He's trying to pretend like he like doesn't know what they're talking
Yeah.
about, and then they finally like break it down for him to let him know, like, no, we know you did it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes, okay, well, I'm gonna write a statement. Excuse me. So he takes a piece of paper and a pen, like he's gonna write something. He just scribbles something, and he just starts stabbing himself. Yeah, I didn't do it. I didn't
Oh,
do it. He tried to murder himself with a ballpoint pen. Like,
God.
it's not gonna work, sir. That was
Oh,
the funniest
no.
scene I've ever did ever in the history of my life.
Oh, no.
Like, like, no, don't do that.
Take the pen
Don't
away.
do that.
Take the pen.
Right. But yeah, so that's that was I think that was the last project
They
that I
worked on
did.
since
Yeah. So
all this.
but good stuff for the real.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Definitely traumatic though. It was one of those things where you're like, yeah, this would be if it was a movie, that would be even weirder because I'm really
Yeah,
like Meisnery, where I'm like I get all into it, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah. Lucky it was only like 4 or 5 days, so not too bad.
That's gotta
How's
be
the
hard
acting in Ohio?
to go into that sort of murderer mind and then having, I mean, you got to go back to life, obviously. You got to go
Right.
back to yourself and who you are. And then, I mean, I guess that really speaks to your own mindset and sort of your own positive nature, where it's just like, all right, now I'm back and like,
Oh man, it was, and you know what made it weirder? It was the scenario of
uh-huh.
me like. Apparently, me and the girl had dated in high school.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why she let me in because
She knew
she
you.
had a dinner party. The dinner party ended. I guess I was watching her or something, and then
Okay.
I come right after everyone leaves, and she sees me. She knows me. We dated in high school, so she invites me in. She's kind of giving me like a tour of the place, and then I'm
Okay.
like, oh yeah, I think that me and you should be together now. And then she's like, no, like pushes me away.
Yeah.
And then but now I have to advance on her and like
Right.
grab her and like throw her on the
Right.
bed. And then I had to, this was the weirdest part. I had to stab her, right? But we weren't using a retractable blade, a solid blade.
Oh
So
no. Oh.
they're putting that blood everywhere. And They're like, yeah. Don't stab her though. Just like stab around her.
Oh my
Like,
God.
okay. They're like, yeah. So yeah, just stab around her. And at first they were like, you know what you could do? Just like go for the stab and then flip the knife like this. They want me to go.
Yeah, because that's not, yeah.
Like,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
good.
that looks real.
Yeah, that's nice. But so they tell me to do that. I do that. It looks stupid. They tell me
Yeah.
to redo it. And so then they're like, no, just stab around her. Just, stab as hard as you can. Just stab around her or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're shooting the scene. The girl is going off, Kelly. She's kicking me in the face, punching me. Like,
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
right.
She fighting for her life.
Sure.
And I'm trying to not stab her.
Not stab her.
Well, she's like,
While making
punching me
it
in
look
the
like you're
face.
stabbing her. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh.
I'm not stabbing anything because I'm getting beaten up. So I was just literally like this for like 3 minutes, like like ow. And then I finally get one stab at, bam. I'm like, oh my God, this girl,
wow.
I don't think he would have killed you. He killed all of them, man.
He would have given up by now.
Yeah, she was tough. I was like, geez. And so this was the reason why I brought that up was while he was stabbing her, the blood got so like slippery that the knife slipped. So then he cut his hand.
Oh.
DNA, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Cuts his hand. You know what I'm saying? He gets blood everywhere. He runs to the restroom. When he gets to the restroom, he rinses his hand off, and then he takes her Band-Aids, puts them on his hand, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And now he has the Band-Aids on, but he leaves, and then he's hanging out for like 3 days. I used to be a cop, so I'm going to tell you something how they catch people. Trace evidence is how they usually catch people, and that's just like your hair follicles, skin, molecules, all that stuff just kind of falls off while you're in anywhere. But this person just left some blood right here.
Blood and fingerprints all over the Band-Aid box.
So the day that he leaves, he takes the Band-Aids off, throws them in the toilet.
Okay.
The bloody Band-Aids are in the toilet.
Oh no.
He touched the toilet seat because he lifted
the toilet seat.
Yeah,
all of
the
it.
Toilet seat is up. The Band-Aids are in there.
Oh my God.
Her body's over there. The house cleaner comes, opens the door. She hears some noise. She hears like the TV, and she hears, I guess, I don't know if he was talking or whatever. She says she assumed they were having sex, so she just left.
Oh wow.
What?
Okay.
So anyway, he leaves. All that stuff is there, and he leaves. And he turned the heat in the apartment way up so her body would decompose faster.
Oh wow.
So they go into the scene, they look, they find all the stuff I just said.
Yeah.
Of course, her body's decomposing and all that stuff. And they don't come up with any conclusive evidence to find the dude. So 20 years later.
Oh my God.
After what I just told you, 20 years later, he went and shoplifted, and then they were able to catch him. But all that stuff was left in the place, and they couldn't catch him.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, this is the weirdest story that I think I've ever heard. I've never heard anything like that, to where the dude murdered her and was just chilling for like 20
all of
years?
This around. Yeah.
He didn't even leave the area.
Yeah.
He didn't leave. He still lived in the area.
Right. That's what I thought you were going to say. Like, they didn't catch him for 20 years because he took off or, something. No, he's just been hanging out shoplifting. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
He's like, I'm the Teflon Don now. He's like stealing and freaking doing whatever. He's like, I'm untouchable. And then he just jaywalked in front of the wrong cops, and that was the end of that. It was a done deal, Jaywalking. That's what
jaywalking.
That's what they got him on, jaywalking, and then
we missed you for murder, but jaywalking, we got you. We got you on that one.
We got you on that. And we're gonna try to make this murder stick, but
It's almost like a bad SNL sketch, like that. You know, like that's wild. I'm gonna have to watch that because I'm super curious as to how.
yeah. And to make it even weirder,
Uh-huh.
there was 3 suspects,
Okay.
all black,
Oh.
and one of the guys was obsessed with her. Outside of me, there was another guy that was obsessed with her.
Oh wow.
And he
So
had a bunch of like pictures of her and like knew her schedule and all this crazy stuff. He had that at his apartment. That guy. What is she doing to
right.
what is he doing to these people? Why are they obsessed
Why are
with
they
her?
obsessing?
She's
Yeah.
a very regular looking woman. There's nothing she wasn't unattractive, but it wasn't like, I don't know, I didn't
Yeah,
see
yeah. That is wild. And I can only
real
imagine
life,
like the
man.
police investigation where it's like it's gotta be you though, right? You
Right.
with the photos of her. Come on, it's gotta be no, is that all right.
No? I was doing that. I'm
It's the
watching the episode and
jaywalker?
going,
Okay.
he killed her. Oh wait, no, I killed her. That's right. That's right. When you watch it, I guarantee you're gonna be like, he didn't kill her?
What?
Are you sure? He does. That guy
Because it
looks
really
like
seems like that guy.
yeah, he's and like there's like certain little clips where he's like talking and he says something and you're like, oh that's very murdery.
Yeah.
The way that you said that was
that's
my guy is just like so I think that was like the that's where they kind of give you a little plot twist.
okay.
So they wanted to give you a little doubt.
Yeah.
So then they kind of painted a picture of like this guy. So you're like, oh, okay. And then when they show me, it's more like direct. Everything's direct. This guy is like, he kind of painted a picture of like, oh, it could be him. Me is like, yeah, no, it's
him.
I was like, what in the world, man? Like, yeah, it was cool. It was a fun set, fun thing to shoot, but definitely weird, like wrestling with a woman with blood all over her and trying to stab her and not stab her.
Not stab her for real though. Yeah.
I was like, geez. So I would just like, that 5-hour trip from where was it? Sunny something. It's it's past Santa Clarita.
Oh, okay.
Sun Valley?
Oh yeah. Sun Valley.
Yeah. Sun Valley.
Yeah.
That's where we're filming, in Sun Valley. I live in Orange County.
Yes,
So
that's a hike. That's
5-6 hours to get home.
Oh.
That's enough time to decompress. But also enough traffic to turn me into a real murderer. So
yeah. And you're like, if I was going to murder someone, now I know. Don't leave the Band-Aids.
This would do it right here. This would you'd murder anyone after. I mean,
traffic.
It's so ridiculous, man.
Oh my God.
And I don't live in LA because this wouldn't be fun anymore if I lived in LA. I think I would, because you fall into the little scene and then, and you feel like you have to, play the game a certain way because that's the way everybody plays it. Like in comedy, you're supposed to hang out at comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be out there and be on the scene and all that stuff. And like, I don't want to be on the scene. I don't want people to just like, I don't want you to know my stuff before I go on stage because you've seen me because I've been performing at the same spot for, like, it's cool when you're getting paid, but like, I still like the idea of the performance. I want you to see me and then get the performance, not just like, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, he's always here.
He's here again. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep, makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, so I don't hang out at all. I pop in every now and again, and I've done this whole thing my way, Kelly. Just like Frank Sinatra said. And as you can see, working out perfectly. 2007 Mazda 3, red, candy red, baby. Only 132,000 miles on it. Just saying, pretty sweet. And this apartment is in a very lavish neighborhood where, only cars been broken into maybe 3 times. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
That's all. Not bad.
3 times.
That's not bad.
You broke the same window twice. Why would you? I mean, yeah, I clearly know what I'm doing. So,
so you said something to me on a show. It was a Crystal Adams show, and it was
Mhm.
at my office at the film production studio that I was working at the time. It was like
Oh
a
yeah, that was
movie.
fun. I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. I
Mhm.
remember you said that you're like comedians were not always the funniest ones in the rooms, but were the ones who were listening. And I was like, that yes, like
Mhm.
yes, that spoke
Mhm.
so true to me. Because I'm I'm not the funniest one in the room by
Mhm.
far, but I'm the one who's like studying and I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna perform, I'm gonna do the best that I can and like,
Mhm.
working on my craft. But yeah, that was something, especially at that time it hit so hard because I was just struggling with my own like, I don't know, I think I was at that 3-year mark of comedy where you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, what am I doing? Am I funny? I don't know. Like you're just
Yeah. Yeah.
you're new, but you're still bad. And
Right.
you know, it's like,
I
oh,
mean, it's so weird because that makes me think that you probably have an introspective, you know, mind.
mm-hmm.
I'm super introspective, so I'm always like, looking at things that I do and then going, why would I don't know what I did.
What do I? Yeah. What was the? How did I
Or,
get there?
like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm always trapped in my own thoughts. But
Yeah.
so it's weird because then when you see someone who's not like that, it's so amazing to see someone who's just like, have you ever seen
Right?
that before? Especially comedians, and they just like they don't care. Like they go up there
Yeah.
and like say whatever and like have some weird show, and then they just like walk off like nothing happened. And I'm like, that was strange. Like that whole
Interaction.
thing was strange. I mean, he seems like he's a-okay with it. Like he's fine. Like what would we give
I
to
would
be
be
that guy?
thinking about that for days.
Oh my God. Like every time I bomb, I'm dead. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't talk to
That's
me.
it.
Don't I'm just
That's it.
gonna be dead for about a month and a half and then I'll reappear. But yeah. But I see people like this dude, he was doing like cat rape jokes and
Oh my
like I'm
God.
like cat rape, like
What? Yeah.
yeah, some people just say things just to be saying them, you know what I'm saying, like they
Yep.
just want shock
Yeah.
value, which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get that if you want to be that type of comedian, but
Right.
a very adolescent uh thought process when it comes to do you want to be so then you got to go, do you want to be a comedian
Or
or
yeah.
are you just trying to be funny right now or like I
Yeah.
don't
Like,
understand like
what's your goal with
yeah,
that?
what's the long game if you're doing cat rape jokes now?
It's a very small audience. Not saying they're not out there, but
They're out there. They're out
they're
there. I just they weren't there that night, but uh,
it's
I
gonna
just
be hard
remember
to find them.
yeah, I was just staring at them like that's. I'm not mad. Like yeah,
You do,
no,
yeah,
yeah,
say whatever you want, but okay.
yeah. It's not. I mean, oh well, maybe he was going for the whole like shock him, and then you
Yeah.
remember who he is. You know what I mean? Hit
It's a
him with some
strategy.
crazy.
That is
Yeah,
a strategy. I'm not
I
sure it's a
can I can say beyond the shadow of a doubt, I don't remember who
who,
that guy
yeah.
was. I don't. I just remember cat rape, and I was like, "That's weird. You're weird for even bringing it up.
Bringing that, yeah.
I don't know where you were at when you thought about it, but gonna stay away from you definitely because cats are they're living things. You
You're like,
should not.
but I'll watch you and study you, and then about like 20 years, I'll play you on a iced tea murdered iced tea
Cat
show.
rapist.
Clearly,
Oh my God! Wow, wow, yeah. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that could be. You never know with me. I'm in the movie Human Centipede 3.
I know. Yeah.
Everyone was like, really? Yeah. I mean, oh, are you part of the centipede? Come on, man. You think I'm gonna let my mama see me with a butt on my mouth?
Hmm.
Never. Never. If they would have told me I was part of the centipede, I would have left.
Yeah, got standards.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. That's ridiculous. And the funny thing about it was that there's so many funny things about it, but they did call like a meeting when we got there. So like I'm a CO in it, like a like the correction, not the correction, but like a
Like
sheriff.
guard. Yeah.
Yeah, guard. So I'm that guy. So we put on our stuff, and then they call the meeting with all the guards. They're like, "Hey guys, have you seen this movie before?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen it before." And then the other people were like, "Yeah, we've seen it." And they're like, "So, Courtney, do you know what it's about?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I can put it together. Come on, man."
Yeah.
It's like human centipede. You know, it's a sci-fi thriller. So what? The centipedes pop out of the humans, then we shoot them, right? Pretty easy. He's like, "No." No.
Oh,
I don't have any other backup for that. That's the only premise that I came up with. So what is it exactly? He's like, "Okay, so what it is these prisoners here, Dieter, who is the guy with the cowboy hat, if you've ever seen the movie, he's the weird guy that actually, does everything to everybody.
The work.
So he goes, that guy, the warden, he takes the prisoners and he sews the mouth of this prisoner to this prisoner's ass, and like to where it like connects and makes a human centipede." And then it clicked in my head, like, oh,
Of course. Can't believe I didn't come up with that one at first.
yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't have thought of that, because that is, so he's like, so he says all that.
Yeah.
Then he looks over, he's looking at us, and I'm like, oh. So, of course, my next question was, does that have anything to do with me?
Yeah.
And he was like, no. I was like, all right, well, cool.
Well, then we're fine. Yeah.
Let's do this. So, we're shooting the scenes and everything. And, up until that point, I was wondering, like, how do they make it the human centipede? Like, is it just like CGI and they just like, make them all like kneel by each other or whatever? Like, how does that work? And then I saw how it worked. There's a harness. It goes over your shoulders and then it goes over your head like that. And then there's a flap right here. And the flap goes into the butt thing, and then you do it like that. See?
Oh my
like
God.
That. Yeah. And I saw the people lining up so that they could do it. The actors, they all put on the harness and then strapped it to some butt cheeks, and they lined up and everything. You know what I thought, Kelly? I thought to myself, that's dedication.
That's yeah.
Now you really want to be in a movie.
You will do
guys.
anything.
No way in hell. No. I'm not strapping to anyone's butt. I don't, I just, there's other roles. You can do something else. I know you may need the money, but if your mom sees this, come on, you know what?
Yeah, right.
Seeing you strapped to someone's butt. Just, come on. And I met a comedian who was in that movie too. Oh,
really?
Yeah, me and him were hella cool too. And he never talks about it, so I wonder if he was a part of the butt or not, because I don't remember exactly how because every time I talk about it, because I talk about it on stage all the time.
Oh, sure, yeah.
One time I booked him on one of my shows, and I was talking about it, and then he went on stage, and I was like, he was in it too. But he was just like, yeah, I was in it. Anyway,
moving on.
Women be shopping. Hey, tell them about the,
You want to tell? No?
The harness, okay, well, that's fine. Go ahead. I don't know what you did. I don't know. It's a very strange movie. And so, yeah, it was, I met some very strange people.
Yeah.
Debo, met him. He was actually pretty cool. He did go crazy on set. Everybody went crazy on set, Kelly.
I would think you would on that one. Yeah.
Bonkers. Yeah. I mean, I filmed so much stuff, and I've never seen a crazier set in my life. They were literally yelling at the AD, like the AD would like be like, "We're about to shoot" or something, and then the director would like give an order, or give a like a direction, and she would repeat it. But the weird thing was like he's right here, and then like she would be like right here, and the actor would be like right here. You see what I'm saying? So. He go, okay, on this one, we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then she go, okay, on this one, we're going to do blah, blah, blah. But the actor's like standing right next to her and right next to So yeah, one of the actors went crazy on her and was like, "Shut up, you stupid B word!" No. Like, I can hear him. He's right next to you. Why do you keep? I was like,
Oh my God.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen actors like go crazy on like. So I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, you know that uncomfortable feeling like when your mom and dad argue in front of you. Like,
Yeah. You're like,
I was like,
hi. This is between you guys. I'm over
here. Yeah, you figure it out. But yeah, so that's probably the weirdest. Let me think now. I think that's the weirdest thing I've ever done.
One.
And
it'd be hard to beat that.
You would think. No, oh yeah, that's not the weirdest one. I did a green screen movie where it was all green screen.
Yeah.
And we were like going to some secret cave. There was like something to do with some aliens, but I was a cameraman, right? But it was all green screen. So he didn't have a camera for me to use. So he gave me an instant coffee pot to use as a camera. So I had an instant coffee.
Oh yeah, that works. Perfect. Oh no.
I don't think it's weirder than that. I'm like, how is he gonna move? But I don't know.
Make do, I guess. Make do with the way you got.
This little coffee pot. Every time I say that, like, I like your reaction. Most people are like they're so like stumped by it. Like, what do you mean a coffee pot is a camera? But I'm like, yeah, I had to like handle up here. And, that was the camera for all intents and purposes. But yeah, that one was pretty weird because we were in a small green screen office and filming everything, and it was just like, okay, there's a rocket's coming at you now. Oh, okay, now you're walking over a bridge. Okay, now stop. Now open the door. All right, now there's a monster right there.
Whoa!
Bigger monster. Bigger monster. All right, now so that was it. That was the whole movie was him just saying stuff and then me like doing whatever. You're pouring coffee. Now with your camera. Oh.
Because back up. Hold on, let me make it a camera.
All right, hold on. So yeah, that one was pretty weird. I haven't seen the finished product, so I have no idea what it looks like. But
yeah,
I did get paid money for that though. So it's, you know, what are you gonna
do? Well, Courtney, I gotta wrap it up because I gotta go back to my kid.
Oh yeah, what is your baby's name?
Anna.
Anna. Oh. Yeah. And now your last name is what?
Oh, it's still Thewlis. My last name is, but hers is Thewlis Landy, so we hyphenated hers.
Landy? Anna Landy?
Yeah.
It sounds like a teacher.
Might be. Like who knows? Yeah.
Anna.
But
she's sweet. I see her in the picture. She's always like game to like take a picture. And,
yeah. She's got a little sass too.
Yeah.
She's got some sass.
Yeah, maybe she's a comedian too. Who knows? But you know, you can take that comedy and make a good teacher too. So
that's why I asked my sister. She's a teacher. And she's her.
I'd rather her be a teacher is what I'm trying to say.
It's a far more stable life if you're
professor. She's a professor at Stanford, something like that. And you remember this. But no, this was fun, man. It was good catching up with you. Anytime you need me, feel free.
Absolutely.
If you want to do one of those like full on, you know, like they did the other thing, we did like, I think we did like 5 or 6 comedians. I just did an interview with Geek Fitters too. It's up, I think currently right now, talking about like black nerds, talking about all this like sci-fi stuff and you know, stuff that I'm into like, you know, Marvel and all those types of things. And she asked me about Harry Potter and which house I was from. And that was a tough one because I don't know what that is. But I looked it up though. I looked it up and I found the house. But
you've hit the limit of my geekdom. That is where
Harry Harry Potter.
Hmm.
You watch that?
Familiar? Yeah, that's actually, there's a Thewlis in that film. One of my distant relatives is the werewolf in that.
You know what's up?
David Thewlis. Yeah, I don't know him. I mean,
No.
so distant that we probably it doesn't even count. But there's a
No,
tree line. Yeah.
it counts. It counts. Thewlis is a very original name, though. You're
It's
the only
pretty
one I know.
much. It's like pretty much
So,
if there's a Thewlis, we're somehow related. Like
you
that's
relate.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. People think that about Rice too, but it's a little more. It's out there a little more than Thewlis. You're the
Mm-hmm.
only one that I've ever met. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're the only one I've ever met, and you kept it
Yeah.
because you're a strong, independent Mexican woman.
Exactly.
You know, Thewlis. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties again, but thank you for working with it.
No, it's all good. Luckily, I'm sheltered in place, so it wasn't a problem at all. Except for my mom calling over and over again. I don't know what she wants. Who knows? Maybe somebody died or something. But
I hope not.
we gotta finish the business first, and then we'll hear
And
about
then you'll
whatever
go
we
on.
gotta talk about.
Well, so good talking to you again.
You too, Kelly.